4 games, beginning with an ACC afternoon, an hour and a half from now, 1:30 Eastern. The Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech, they'll be traveling to Duke, followed by the big game of the day. 3rd-ranked North Carolina hosting 10th-ranked Clemson. The Tar Heels can clinch the ACC regular season title, but the Tigers have yet to lose on the road. SportsCenter returns at 7 p.m. Eastern. Then it's off to the Sun Belt Conference, Western Kentucky versus University of Alabama, Birmingham. And then our late game, Notre Dame at Utah. As usual, college basketball at its best all day here on ESPN. 37,000 and counting. Los Angeles Lakers center Kareem Abdul-Jabaar has become the first NBA player ever to score over 36,000 points in his incredible career. He did it against the Chicago Bulls as the Lakers beat Chicago for the 12th time in their last 13 meetings. We'll take a look at it. A sellout in Chicago. Fans were not disappointed. First period, Michael Jordan blocked by Byron Scott. Scramble. Jordan will get it back. Then he will bring it up. He'll weave. He'll pop. And the Bulls are up by 4 at the end of 1. Second period, Bulls go up by 7. Mike Brown will miss. But watch Brad Sellers. Up high, fighting and fighting. He gets it in. 14 points off the bench. L.A. goes to the break on an 18-4 run to Magic. And L.A.'s up by 5 at the half. Third period, Magic watching. Bam, down inside. To James Worthy, he stuffs. He had 16 points. L.A. up by 2 at the end of 3. Jordan takes over in the 4th period. Between 3 Lakers here. Reverse, off the glass. Vintage Jordan. Later, he will poke the ball away from Magic, the outlet, back to Jordan, and here's the slam dunk champion in action. He had 33. The Bulls would pull within 2. But the mainstay for L.A. for many years, Kareem Abdul-Jabaar, scored in double figures for the 746th game. And with that hook, how fitting he should do it with that shot. Kareem scores his 36,000th career point, 17 points on the night. The crowd acknowledging the accomplishment in Chicago. Michael Jordan was cold in the first half, only 4 from the floor, 27 points total, and the Magic Man continuing to tear it up. He had 28 in that Laker victory. It was a drought that went back to March of 1981. The Indiana Pacers had not beaten the Atlanta Hawks in Atlanta at the Omni in 16 straight tries until last night. The Pacers' Steve Stipanovich poured in a season-high 30, and the Hawks fall 1.5 games out of first in the Central behind Detroit. Dominique Wilkins running the show for Atlanta as usual. Clear out here, and he takes it in over Chuck Person, 32 points.
That was just a great...
Pacers trying to stay close. Chuck Person fakes one shot, and then he hits a short jumper, 18 points for him. Pacers down by 7 at the half. Stipanovich leads Indiana. They work it to him here at the free throw line, and he sticks the J. 30 points for him. Atlanta with some good defense, though. John Long will be blocked by John Koncak. There's the block. Just sticks up the arms there. Dominique feeds Kevin Willis right there, and he jams. 11 points for Willis. But down the stretch, the Pacers heated up while the Hawks cooled off. Pacers get it to John Long. Way outside. A three-pointer. Pacers worked it to a 107-105 lead. Hawkers with one last chance as the clock runs down. The Hawks looking for Doc Rivers. He can't find it, and the Pacers come out with it and sneak out of Atlanta with that 2-point win, 107-105. Stipanovich hit 9 of 11 from the field, hit all 12 of his free throws, 15 rebounds, a flawless night for Steve Stipanovich. Dominique Wilkins, 32 points for Atlanta. Now, while Stipanovich was putting the hurt to the Hawks, Mark Aguirre of Dallas doing the same to San Antonio. Aguirre hit a season-high 41 points, including 16 in the first period. Dallas never looked back in this game. Spurs looking good, though, early. Sundvold with the feed to Kristoyak. He finished with 17. The Spurs lead by 2 in the first. Mavericks made a run in the second period. Roy Tarpley missing the J, but Bill Wennington slamming home the rebound. The Mavs go up by 5. Waning moments of the first half. Brad Davis driving and dishing to Sam Perkins in the corner, who hits it. Perkins finished with 25 points, 18 rebounds. The Mavs lead by 14 1/2. The night belonged to Aguirre. Hits the nice turnaround over David Green one. Mavs lead by 12 in the third. Fourth period, Mark Aguirre again, this time off balance in the paint, and just la-di-da puts it in. He finished with 41. More Aguirre this time. He buries from way outside, way out there. And Spurs coach Bob Weiss says, how do you stop this guy? Well, basically, coach, you don't, and you didn't. 122-107. Sam Perkins owned the boards, 18 rebounds. The Mavs continue to lead the way in the Midwest. Other scores: Philadelphia rolling past Sacramento. Andrew Toney, a season-high 32 points. Charles Barkley, 18 points, 17 boards. The largest victory of the season for the 76ers. Washington over Utah by 5. Moses Malone, his usual effort, 35 points. Jeff Malone had 29. The Jazz now 3 games behind Dallas in the Midwest. Denver losing to the Clippers. How about the Clippers? They are now 9-42. Michael Cage, 28 points for the Clippers. Denver's Alex English had 40 points, but not enough in that one. Turning to the National Hockey League, former New York Rangers coach Ted Sater, he's on a roll with his new club, the Buffalo Sabres. The Sabres have won 7 of their last 8. They are making a run for the final playoff spot in the Adams division. And last night, Sater got the opportunity to whip up on his former club, the New York Rangers. Let's take a look at it. Rangers coach and general manager Phil Esposito celebrating a happy 45th birthday. First period, just 1-1. They love him there, don't they? Tony McKegney on the rush, centers to Walt Podubny. The shot is saved, but the rebound, and he scores. Podubny's 34th, 2-1 New York, end of 1. Second period, Sabres on the power play. Dave Andrechuk beats Doug Smith, who beats John Van Beesbrook with the wrist shot. Only 30 seconds into the period, and it's 2-2. Buffalo on the power play once again. Mike Foligno to Smith, who skates in and fires in his second goal. Smith's 13th. It's 3-2 Buffalo. 13 seconds later, though, Adam Creighton breaks into the Rangers zone. He centers to Clark Gillies, and he scores. 4-2 Buffalo. Only 50 seconds to go in the second now. Christian Ruutu from behind the net finds Phil Housley in the slot for his second goal of the night. 5-2 Buffalo. The final 6-3 Buffalo. Ted Sater returns to New York triumphant. You know he's got to love it, although he's not showing it. Phil says, what are we going to do here? It's a bad birthday. You're killing me here. The Sabres are still 6 points behind Quebec in the Adams, but Buffalo has certainly, no doubt about it, turned things around lately. As for Quebec, they lose. Steve Yzerman had 2 goals, 3 assists for the Red Wings, who are atop the Norris division these days. Boston and Winnipeg, Doug Smale a hat trick. Paul McLean a goal, 4 assists for the Jets. The Bruins have lost 5 in a row. Calgary rolling 7-2 over Toronto. 7 different Flames scored in this one. The Flames and Winnipeg are tied for second in the Smythe division, 11 points behind Edmonton. Washington and Vancouver. Mike Gartner scored no less than 4 goals and set a Washington team record by scoring in 10 consecutive games now. The 4th-place Capitals are now within 2 points of the Rangers and Islanders in the Patrick division. Still ahead, we'll turn to news from the golf and tennis tours. And yes, baseball is back. The training camps began to open this week. We'll pay a visit with the boys of summer as they begin to get back in form for 1987. There's a familiar face. Stay with us.
SportsCenter is being brought to you by Michelob. The exceptionally smooth, distinctive taste is why the night belongs to Michelob.
Of course, it's only February, but when it comes to thinking baseball, everybody thinks October. In the National League, the Houston Astros expect everybody to come after them in the West this year, while in the East, we'll see if the Mets continue their dominance. After winning the Western Division title last season, second-year Astro manager Hal Lanier has the question of Nolan Ryan's sore arm. But he does have a healthy Cy Young Award winner Mike Scott back for another year. Being champions has produced a new atmosphere in Kissimmee.
Besides the things on the field, I think anytime that you win a division, you're going to have more media attention around. I think that the ball players have to, when they come out here, they have to know that they're supposed to be on the field of work. And, you don't mind having, little sessions with the media, but, any 15-minute periods and stuff like this, we just have to be careful of.
The Cincinnati Reds unpacked Friday in Tampa. Even though manager Pete Rose will not be eligible to play until May, he's not on the 40-man roster. He's taking spring training, as they always say, one day at a time. He's in no hurry to get himself ready.
Sure, I'll take spring training at a slow-down pace because I have really 12 weeks to get ready. I can't play until May 15th, and the other guys only have 6 weeks to get ready. So I won't take anybody's time, but there again, hopefully everyone will be doing a job come May 15th, and no one will be needed to put on a disabled list or no one will be hurt. If that's the case, I'll wait till September.
In the Cactus League in Arizona, the Cubs have a lot of work to do if they're going to make up ground in the National League East. Everybody's got to give chase to those Mets. No one knows it better than they do.
I see enthusiasm, but I know every camp down here has that same enthusiasm. You have to start out with that, though. I think the players have thought about the whole winter, and they've thought about how they want to improve. And Everybody's a little embarrassed when you don't do as well as you'd like or you're expected. I think they're expecting to do better this year.
If everybody's willing to put the past behind them, then it's sure going to help me a lot. If people quit throwing that back at me, I realize that was the worst year of my entire life. If I can go on and forget about that, it's only going to help me have a better year.
Now in the American League camps, a changing of the guard in Baltimore, optimism at a high ebb in Orlando for the Twins, and the Tigers hoping to concentrate more on the-field matters. In Miami, longtime Oriole coach Cal Ripken Sr. is now the new man in charge. He took over as Baltimore's new manager. For the O's, 1987 will be a year to make up for a lot of problems they had in 1986. So far, so good, says the new skipper of the O's.
I was pleased with everybody. Everybody came out today, and I thought we had a nice little quick and snappy workout.
First chance to look at some of the guys physically. Do the guys look like they took care of themselves in the offseason?
Oh, I thought that in looking around at everybody out there, I thought that everybody came in very, very good shape. I was pleased with the whole group.
In Orlando, another rookie manager, Tom Kelly of the Twins, looked over his troops. He's pleased with the return of this man, batting star Kirby Puckett, and the addition of Jeff Reardon to the bullpen. Reardon coming over from the Expos. Kelly, sporting a Major League chaw, likes what he sees.
No, optimistic. We take them one at a time, and you've heard that before. And for some reason, I think Mr. LaRussa over there with Oakland's going to do a good job. And I think with the addition of Reardon, if he helps us the way we think he's going to, it's going to improve our pitching.
At Tiger Town in Lakeland, most of the Tigers' focus has been on off-the-field matters like the contract of pitcher Jack Morris and the future of catcher Lance Parrish.
I don't think there's a player in here that really is too concerned about Lance's contract. I mean, that's his personal business. Unfortunately, the whole public, all baseball fans in the country, read about what we do in the offseason, and negotiations is probably as big an attention getter as winning a World Series now. That's unfortunate as far as I'm concerned, but Lance Parrish, my friend and teammate, is what I miss. I wish he was here.
The key word we've heard mostly the past few weeks is arbitration. We are down to our final player involved in an arbitration hearing as the crowd goes wild. California Angels shortstop Dick Schofield asked for $475,000 this season. The Angels offered $305,000, and we are still awaiting word as to how that one turned out. If you have been scoring at home, the owners have won 16 decisions, the players 9. A surprise leader on the golf tour on Friday. LA Open highlights coming your way next. Plus, we'll introduce you to the latest inductees into the Tennis Hall of Fame. Unforgettable names like Borg, King, Smith, and Ralston. We'll be right back. That 2 other qualifiers withdrew. Bill Sander would not be in the LA Open golf tournament, but Sander was taking full advantage of his alternate standing as of Friday. If he can keep it up, he will be able to meet quite a few expenses this week. Action, good crowd at Riviera in California, Pacific Palisades. Bobby Watkins went into the second round leading. He's now at 4 under. Seve Ballesteros is only 3 strokes off the lead, drilling a long putt there. After a first round 70, Bill Sander finds himself atop the leaderboard, lifting a nice approach shot. Watch it about 12 feet away there, no problem. He runs in that birdie putt right here, and a beautiful 66 on the day to lead by 1 stroke. Bill Sander, the surprise man at the top of the leaderboard.
I hit some good shots and made some putts and got a couple good breaks, and things just went my way.
And here's how the leaderboard looks. Bill Sander at -6 through 2 rounds. And it's Danny Edwards giving chase. T.C. Chen at -5. Rick Fair also at -5. We've got 4 golfers tied at -4 coming into today's rounds. They're on the course right now. Now, the ladies are in Hawaii, Oahu, actually, for the Hawaiian Open LPGA style. Alice Ritzman at -5, tied with Jane Geddes at -5. Dawn Coe, Penny Hamill, and Cindy Rarick all at -4. Hollis Stacy giving chase at -3 as they head into their weekend action. Well, we'll be talking about the Hall of Famers in tennis in just a moment, but our present-day tennis heroes are in Florida and California. The ladies playing the Virginia Slim stop in Boca Raton. The men, the Pilot Pen Nabisco Grand Prix stop in California. Here's how the men look in the Pilot Pen Classic. It was Stefan Edberg over Miroslav Misier. 4-6. He dropped it the first set, but he came back to win the last two, 6-4 and 6-2. Number 1 and number 7 squaring off there. Boris Becker took care of Emilio Sanchez in straight sets, 6-3 and 7-5. Yannick Noah over Terry Toulon, 6-love in the first set. And Toulon came back in the second one, but it was Yannick Noah all the way in the third set. And Mats Wilander winning easily, 6-3 and 6-love. So it's going to be Edberg and Wilander in the semifinals. Becker will take on Noah. As for the ladies, they are in the Virginia Slims of Florida, as I said. The Polo Club in Boca Raton, Florida. The quarterfinal action yesterday. Steffi Graf took on Claudia Cody-Kilch, and it was 7-6 and 6-2 in favor of Steffi when that one was over. Pam Shriver, no problem over Gigi Fernandez, 6-3 and 6-3. Helena Sokova coming back to beat Bettina Bunge. It was 3-6 first set, 6-3 and 7-6. And it was Gabriela Sabatini winning very easily, 6-2 and 6-1. So it will be Steffi Graf and Pam Shriver. The 2 and 3 seeds will be squaring off in the semifinals. Helena Sokova taking on Gabriela Sabatini in the other semifinal. Number 4 going against number 6. Seems Bjorn Borg was always ahead of his time. He was only 18 when he won his first Wimbledon. He was only 26 years old. Think about it, 26 when he retired from tennis. This year, Borg will become the youngest ever inducted into the Tennis Hall of Fame in Newport, Rhode Island. Here he is, Bjorn Borg, playing exhibition early this year. He's got a shorter haircut these days. He won 5 consecutive Wimbledon titles and 6 French Open titles. As we said, the youngest ever selected to the Hall. Billie Jean King, one of the top 10 female players for 2 decades. She has a record 20 Wimbledon titles, singles, doubles, and mixed doubles. Stan Smith won the 1971 U.S. Open, 72, Wimbledon, ranked number 1 in the world in 72, and Dennis Ralston. He was the number 1 ranked American player from 1964 to 66, currently coaches Chris Everett Lloyd and is head coach at Southern Methodist University. Also elected to the Tennis Hall of Fame in Newport, Rhode Island. Alex Olmedo, the 1959 Australian Open and Wimbledon champion. Olmedo was born in Peru, but helped the U.S. win the 1958 Davis Cup. Well, scores from college basketball on Friday. It was a light night Friday. Let's take a look at Ivy League action. Columbia and Penn. Penn center Bruce Lefkowitz. He's been hot lately. 27 points as they win 94 to 73. Yale and Harvard. Yale winning 88-76. Cornell and Princeton. Princeton winning by 5. That was an upset as they upset the number 1 team, the Big Red of Cornell. A half-game lead now over Penn. They meet tonight. Brown and Dartmouth, and it was Dartmouth winning 83 to 73. Cleveland State taking care of Valparaiso. San Francisco losing big to Loyola Marymount, and Santa Clara losing to Pepperdine by 14. Well, every college basketball team dreams of making it to the big show, the 64-team NCAA tournament. That definitely includes the host school, New Orleans. The Privateers are 21-3 this year, but despite the record, they are certainly lacking in recognition. Jim Bergamo decided to give them some publicity.
Last year, LSU made it to the Final Four. This year, another Louisiana team has a chance to make it, but it's not the Tigers. It's the University of New Orleans. The Privateers are led by last year's junior college championship MVP, Liddell Eccles. He's averaging almost 24 points per game. Senior forward Ronnie Grandison averages 17 points and 10.5 rebounds per game. And junior point guard Gabe Corciani dishes out 4 assists and hits for 9 points per contest. While the Privateers have enough offensive firepower to provide the knockout punch, head coach Benny Dees feels his is definitely a defense-oriented team.
We get after you really hard on defense, and that's really dear to my heart. And we win with just athletes, not great basketball players, but good athletes.
Dees preached to his athletes that being an independent, UNO would have to get out of the blocks early this season if it was to attract the attention of the national media. But that didn't happen. The Privateers split their first 4 games. And a good part of the Privateers' problem wasn't the opponents, but the Privateer players themselves. In short, it was called getting the highly recruited Eccles and the rest of the players on the same page.
When Liddell came to the squad, there was a lot of publicity that followed after him, and I think it wasn't the fact that the guys were jealous of him or anything like that. It was just something new that we hadn't experienced. We didn't have a really big superstar. Last year, I was a pretty decent player, but I wasn't a superstar. And when Liddell came, I think it was opened up the eyes of a lot of people, and I think we didn't handle it too well. And now I think we're handling it really well. And Liddell also, he's changed his game to become a real good team player.
My role is when I go into a game, if I got the shot, I'm going to take it, and then if I don't have it, I'll pass it to my other teammates so they can have a chance to do the same thing I'm doing. It's going.
I think that this basketball team, even though I'd rather have it at the end of the year, belongs in the top 20. I also think it's a basketball team that'll lose a game or two or 3 games from here on in. We're not a 25-3 basketball team. We're not that good. But what we got to do, Jim, is stay away from some extended losing streaks, 2 or 3 in a row. We got to salvage a win in there and win us 22 or 23 ball games and maybe impress the selection committee and get in.
Reporting from New Orleans, Louisiana, I'm Jim Bergamo for ESPN.
And again, a reminder, 4 live games coming up here on ESPN today in ACC afternoon, beginning with Georgia Tech at Duke at 1:30 Eastern Time. And we'll be back to wrap up this edition of SportsCenter in just a moment, including one man who certainly knows how to get the most out of a thrilling day on the slopes. We'll introduce you to him when we come back. Most avid snow skiers are content with your average casual swoosh down a slope. Even a challenging run a couple of times a day gets the heart pumping. But one young man from Connecticut has taken the art of flying down the hill to new heights. Literally, Skip Church explains.
This is Jack Fleming from Middletown, doing what he does best. He's an aerialist.
There's a little bit of a risk factor involved. It gives you an adrenaline pump, and it really is exciting. It's something that's rare.
This is where it all began for Jack at Powder Ridge. But even at the age of 12, he realized that just skiing wasn't quite enough. So he and his friends started building wooden ramps to jump off of.
And then I started doing some tricks, and it just came to the point where I decided I'd get into the competition up north, and that's where it took me.
Jack and his brother Mike ski together whenever they get a chance, in hopes that someday they may be on the U.S. freestyle team together. Jack is already on that team.
It's an honor, actually, and I've worked hard to get to it, and now that I have the spot, it's great. You know, I get to travel and meet people from all over the world and compete with people from all over the world, and I'm getting an experience that you can't get out of any book.
In his rookie year on the U.S. team, Jack is ranked 7th in the world as an aerialist, and he hopes the '88 Olympic Games are in his future.
That's one of my big goals. I'm really hoping to get there. I'd like to go there and compete as a U.S. athlete here from Connecticut and just go, and I'm going to try and get a medal, and that's what I'm shooting for right now.
He's going to be doing a triple also, a layout on the first, a twist on the second, and a twist on the third. Excellent landing for Jack. He is psyched. He is pumped up here.
Jack left for Austria yesterday, where he hopes the second half of the World Cup season goes as well as the first. For ESPN SportsCenter, this is Skip Church reporting.
Better him than me. That's going to do it for this new edition of SportsCenter. John Saunders will be along in about an hour. We'll see you tomorrow morning on This Week in Sports. I'm Alan Massengale.
SportsCenter has been brought to you by new Sun Spray Coast. Same great Coast lather, but a whole new scent.